I'm Eden, and this is my dad, Noah, and every week we sit on my bed and have a different conversation about something I want to talk about. And this week we're going to talk about my favorite things in school.
Alright, so, what are your favorite things?
Well, I'll start with subjects that aren't special, which are music, science, math, music, science, gym, and art.
Meaning special is meaning what?
Special. It's special activities.
Like that you don't have every day.
Right.
Right, so that's already different from when I was in school.
Okay,
because we had science every day.
Well, yeah. But let's get to main activities.
Okay.
Cool. So mine, I have a top two, but one is I like a little more than the other. Reading and math.
Okay.
Can you guess which one I like?
Reading.
Yes.
Alright, so what do you do in school for reading?
Well, this might be hard to explain because we do a lot of things. I'll tell about what we're doing right now in school.
Okay.
So this will come out on the 13th.
Monday,
but
right?
we were doing this week, so the week before.
It's past week.
Yes, this past week. So we're reading nonfiction, and we made book club groups that we're reading, and we're reading about different topics that we're interested in, and then we talk about the books.
How do you come up with the topic?
We don't come up with topics, but we had written down a few things on Post-its that we're interested in, and that's how they created the groups.
Oh, so what did you write down on your Post-it? Do you remember?
I think I wrote biographies, volcanoes. I'm interested in this because I've read a lot of books about them.
Speak up.
Because I've read a lot of books about volcanoes.
Volcanoes, okay.
But I forget the other one.
Okay. So then your group was what?
I'm reading about the civil rights movement this week.
Got it.
So
everybody, take us.
Yeah.
Does everyone read the same book or different books?
But we have a bin.
Okay.
And there are books in there about our topic.
How many books are in there?
I don't know.
But a bunch that everyone can read.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody at least has one.
So then everybody then discusses what they learned in the book or questions that they have?
Yeah, we discuss what we learned. We ask questions to other people. There's someone who gets the conversation going.
What's that person?
The facilitator, which is me.
Oh, nice.
And then my friend that's in my group is the questioner.
Oh, I understand. So the other person's supposed to be asking questions. You kind of facilitate, make sure the conversation's moving along.
Mm-hmm. And then there's a materials manager, which gets the materials.
Mm-hmm.
So charts. There's the charts that sentence charts to ask things and stuff.
Okay.
And also we have to get our bins with the books to read.
Right. So is this a So I like the whole book club idea.
One more thing. And there's the substitute. So if someone can't do their job, say the materials manager, then the substitute does the materials manager's job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, come closer to me. So what is the? So are you going to continue with this topic next week, or do you get a new topic?
I think we get a new topic every week. I don't think I know.
So
I think I have a new topic next week.
Was this the first time that you had done a book club type thing where you guys are discussing things with each other?
In school, yeah.
So usually you're kind of reading on your own and writing things down, or do you usually
jotting. That's what we learn.
Jotting. So
jotting is if you say I learn a little fact, you jot down fact. I would jot down that fact on a Post-it, and I would stick it in my friend in my book. And then when it was time to share, I would share what I learned, and then other people can add on to my ideas if they have it.
Okay, yeah, that's helpful.
Right.
That's helpful.
To have things.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share something that maybe it's a fact, or maybe it's an idea, or something you wondered or thought about or felt when you were reading about the civil rights movement?
Well, I am I wonder how this all started. Why did it start? Well, I know why, but why would people think that? You know the idea. What I mean. Why would people think what the civil rights movement is?
Okay, so you're saying why did we even get to that point? Why were blacks treated the way they were to begin with?
Why did people not like blacks? I don't know what that is. There's another person with other color skin.
Right, exactly.
Period. White, blacks.
Right,
like,
exactly. So it goes
blacks could not like white, so I don't get the point of them not liking them. So everybody's just like different skin colors.
Right, exactly.
That's the point I know.
Yeah, so it goes all the way back to slavery, etc. So you'll continue to read about that.
Right.
But I'm glad that stuck out. That your thought was, it's just crazy that we even had to have this movement. But okay,
Right.
so maybe we'll do a longer conversation about that
Okay.
another time. Okay, so what about math?
Okay, in math, I love this part. We get to be, since we have a bigger class and we have 2 groups,
How many kids are in your class?
23. So when we break up the groups, and I'm in across the hall, we have our science teacher's room where she does things. So we go in there, and we have like this whole math center. It's really cool. So we have tables, we have stools, and then we have a whiteboard, like an easel, where our teacher does things.
So you have 2 teachers in your classroom, so
2 teachers.
you guys can split up into groups, okay?
Right, and this is the part that's one of my favorite things, is there's really comfy cushions that we get to sit on.
On the floor or on the
floor.
stools?
No, on the floor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there's cushions. We have a whole math center of tools, materials, charts, games.
What kind of games?
We have war.
Oh, yeah, the card game.
But in addition, so like, if I got an ace, which is 14, and I got a 7, so I do 14 plus 7 equals 21.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's
okay.
And
So
then I would get the cards, and I would like
against the other person.
Yeah,
Got it.
and then you would see at the end of the card when you ran out who has more.
Do you have a time limit on, like, all right, you've got to figure out this. You've got these 2 cards. You've got to figure out in a snap, or
No.
Okay.
We don't have a time limit.
Understand.
Because if you didn't know, that wouldn't be fair if you could figure it out in 2 seconds.
Well, I thought maybe like if you had you get 5 seconds to figure out the math equation, and then if you can't figure it out, then the person takes your cards no matter what. So
That's
that would,
cool.
Yeah, so maybe that would just create a greater sense of urgency to figure it out.
Right.
Like, keep things moving a little bit.
Yeah. But I have a better idea. If you didn't know, the other person would have to solve it in their head while you were doing it. But then they could say it out loud if you didn't know it, and then they would get to say the card.
Yeah.
So it's still addition for them doing math.
Right. I like that idea.
I so selfless.
Yeah. I like that idea. Okay, so
Yeah.
reading and math are your favorites.
Yes, my favorites.
What about from the specials?
From the specials, I like science. I think science is very interesting. We're studying like rocks and waves of like I think it's like crashing onto things and why things are like disappearing from things.
Yeah, do you remember what that's called? We talked about this on vacation, like
God.
how I don't think you've learned it yet. Like when waves
Also, they make rocks
and wind, when they impact how the landscape looks, like the rocks and the shoreline.
It's not that what we're doing.
It's called what's that?
No.
Not eruption. That's a volcano.
Right.
Erosion.
Erosion.
Yeah.
And that makes like
EROSION. Erosion. So
But we're
that's what
thinking
changes
about-
the landscape.
That's not what we're doing. We're thinking about what we did on most of our worksheets is when the waves are crashed, like say there's a mountain. The waves are crashing up on this mountain,
Mm-hmm.
but like half a meter falls off. Why did this happen? It's because the waves are crashing on and rocks are falling off
Over time.
because the waves are so strong. So that's why half a meter got cut off there.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's not like you could have like on a cliff.
Right.
Okay, or a plateau. You could have say there's a house up there. Okay.
Yeah.
And the waves keep crashing into the mountain, so it keeps looking like the house is moving closer and closer to the cliff. The house isn't moving. It's the waves that are
Right.
and the wind that are hitting against the rocks that are cutting away at the rock, so it looks like the house is moving closer to the edge. But the house isn't moving.
Right.
Yeah, the buildings aren't moving. The flagpoles aren't moving. Just everything's cutting into the side.
Right.
Yeah. You like gym?
Yeah, I like gym also. I
you
like
really
gym.
you really went up there.
Yeah, I like gym also.
What kind of things do you guys do in gym? Because that was always my favorite.
I like science, but
Yeah, I know.
I like But that you didn't like probably like that. It's fair because it wasn't like carded as a special because you had it every day.
For science?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, gym, we're doing like throwing activities, rolling activities. Well, we were doing rolling, then we did underhand throwing, then we did over, and now we're doing overhand throwing, and then last time we were catching.
What are you throwing and catching?
Well, like squish balls.
Oh.
But they're like still like balls, but it's not like they're like the small squishy balls.
Right. They're sizable enough.
They're
Okay.
sizable, like maybe like.
Yeah. So big, small enough that you could hold in one hand and throw it overhand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you gotta like hit targets and things.
Not usually hitting targets, but we're throwing to like partners.
Oh, okay.
We were playing the game where it's like there's like a line and each partner is like standing here. You have to catch it, but then once you both partners catch it, you stand back and then you have to
keep
like
moving back.
keep.
Wait, we did some things like that when we used to do the beanbag. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then it takes different amount of touch.
Right.
Going. Well, you don't. Yeah. Sometimes you throw it hard. Sometimes you don't.
And then
Sometimes
you
you
just
throw
go like
underhand. Right. You want to make sure you give someone a target.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm glad you.
This is my target. I'm an alligator about to catch.
Should I ask you what are your least favorite parts of school?
Oh no.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're liking school.
What did you like most about school?
Oh.
Like, what were some of your favorite things?
Good question. Gym.
Gym. What did you like so much about gym?
I loved. We got to play
I
basketball a lot. We got to play floor hockey. We got to play soccer.
What about like other activities? Like in school, like math was like one of mine. Like that's like
recess. I liked a lot.
Well, that's not like a learning. You don't learn in recess.
Sure, you learn how.
But you don't learn from like a teacher.
Yeah. I really liked math when I was in elementary school. I really liked math, and I really liked geography. So learning.
Did you like reading?
Not as much, but I liked reading. It was different. Like I liked reading what I wanted to read. I didn't like being told, okay, now you have to read about this. You have to read about this. I liked reading the sports page and Matt Christopher books.
I like reading like what I want to read, but
But you like reading about a lot of different things. You have wider interest than I did at that age. But I liked geography, learning all the where things were around the country. No, that's geometry. The shapes.
Geography.
Right. Geography is study of maps and learning where different places
States.
Are. All the states. Learning where different places
Do
are
you
around
learn
the country.
about the states?
Yeah, and learning about different countries and cities and landmarks, things like that.
I like learning about states.
Yeah, I enjoyed that because you guys haven't done a whole lot of geography yet. No, but I liked that part of in
The
social
only
studies.
new thing that we have in school that I don't think I've had that much is social studies.
Right, which is part of
Geography.
which you'll get into more geography.
We were
so you're
learning
learning
about
what?
different we were learning our last unit was rural, suburban, and urban.
Okay, so we live in a what?
In an urban community.
Urban community, right? We live in a city. Grandma and grandpa live in
a
suburban, right? And what's an example of a rural community?
Is a place that has a lot of land and not that many things near it.
Right, so like the country.
Yeah.
Farms, things like that.
I feel like when we were in we were in Vermont. When we were driving there was when we entered Vermont, there was so much farmland, but then there was a little city. And then 2 minutes later, you're back out.
Back in the farms. Yeah, it's little towns.
Little towns.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying school.
Mhm.
I love you.
Love you.